Hello everyone, I am Manali Reshamwala, Assistant Professor from LG Institute of Physiotherapy. Today I am going to talk about CABG, that is Coronary Artery Bypass Grafting. It is a part of syllabus for final year physiotherapy students of Gujarat University and the subject is physiotherapy in cardiopulmonary conditions. In part 1 we are going to discuss what is CABG, the aims for it, pre-operative medical management and physiotherapy role. In part 2, we are going to discuss physiotherapy in detail, especially the post-operative physiotherapy after CABG. So let's see first what is CABG. So first performed in 1967 and since then this has become a common operation for prevalent disease. The aim of operation is to relieve the symptoms of angina and in certain groups of patients to prolong life. The most important predictor of long-term survival is the extent of damage to the left ventricle. So if the left ventricle is damaged more, there is a less benefit of coronary artery bypass grafting. So if patient is of middle age and is having signs and symptoms of ischemic heart disease gets the highest benefit of coronary artery bypass grafting. Next is pre-operative medical treatment. Usually these kind of patients are admitted to hospital 48 hours in advance. So he is being given beta blockers, calcium antagonist, nitrates to reduce the cardiac work and reduce the incidence of coronary spasm. A careful anesthetic technique is used while operation. The operation is performed using cardiopulmonary bypass. The reverse segments of the long saphenous veins are used to form bypass grafts from the ascending aorta to the coronary artery distal to the stenosis. So first of all, it is these types of grafts are being taken. Up to 5 to 6 grafts may be required. Surgeons nowadays are also using internal memory artery on one or both the sides to reduce the number of grafts from vein, as well as from if there is a less consistency of vein in the elderly people, this is also one of the good help. So here are the types of graft we can see from ascending aorta to the coronary artery. Wherever the stenosis is there, it is being bypassed with the help of this venous graft. The reverse graft is used because veins have valves. If they are being reversed, they does not work to prevent blood flow. Here is another example of internal memory artery being used from the thorax directly from subclavian artery to the coronary artery, as it's originate from subclavian artery. Next is post-operative care. It occurs in an intensive care ward for 24 hours. The majority of the patients are fit to leave hospital 1 week after the operation, and operation mortality is now less than 2%, and at 1 year after operation over 85% of the person or patients are become symptom free. Multiple coronary bypass grafts may be performed at the same time. So post-operative complications. In current era, the number of post-operative complications are small, but still they are, and how we can manage, let's see. There are mainly early and late type of complications. In early complications, we may find hemorrhage with or without cardiac tamponade. Perioperative myocardial infarction occurs approximately 5% of the patient. Dysarrhythmia, usually supraventricular tachyarrhythmia, that is atrial fibrillation. Cardiovascular accident, particularly in the elderly, and acute renal failure, which is now a rare complication because of the use of medicines. These all things can be managed medically. Late complications are recurrence of angina due to either occlusion of the vein graft or progression of the disease in native coronary arteries. Pre-operative physiotherapy. It plays a very important role to have confidence of patient as well as his relatives. Pre-operative physiotherapy gives a chance to a physiotherapist to know the patient and his relatives, to have achieve a good rapport and understanding with them, physiotherapist must meet a patient at least once preoperatively. Preoperatively, we can also do assessment of the condition of patient, which will follow according to the whatever the signs and symptoms the patient is having. We have to take the whole cardiopulmonary assessment. Some of the further like testing mobility of the hip, knee and ankle is also advised, so that post-operatively we can have aims of making the patient as early mobile as possible. We need to give explanation to the patient about operation, about his stay in intensive therapy unit, like he has to stay at least 24 hours after operation in the intensive therapy unit under observation. He may have some pipes and drains after the operation that should be explained to the patient, as if we have already explained the patient that following the operation he may have endotracheal tube inside his throat. He may not be able to speak because of opening of the vocal cords. So when he comes in regains consciousness after anesthesia, he may not get frustrated because of that thing. We also need to explain him the drains, especially the chest in mediastinal drains, which are usually found after CABG patient, to drain the extra blood from the operation. That should also be explained, that he may come with those drains from operation. It may take 2 to 3 days to drain all the blood from it, and then the drainage tubes are being removed. All the ECG leads and whatever the things a patient may come across, especially the lines like urinary catheter or endogastric tube. So these all things should be told. The general routine for the first post-operative week should also be explained according to the individual surgeon's preference, so that these all things reduces much of the fear of operation from the patient, as well as it can create good rapport with the physiotherapist, which will be helpful post-operatively to treat the patient and get the effect very easily. Some of the objectives should be performed by the physiotherapist pre-operatively, which will be much more helpful post-operatively, like full joint range and adequate circulations are maintained by teaching active or assisted exercise of the arm, leg and trunk. Then correct posture maintained by teaching postural awareness and correct sitting position, because this is usually seen after the patient coming from operation because of midline sternotomy incision. Patient have tendency to stoop and stoop forward or may develop kyphotic posture. So from the day 1 of post operation, we are going to avoid any kind of postural defect and maintaining the good posture of the patient. Breathing exercises are practiced to improve ventilation. If we have already taught a patient how to do diaphragmatic breathing exercise or how to use incentive spirometer pre-operatively, the post-operatively patient understand and cooperate very easily if he has already learned the technique. General mobility is encouraged by showing patient how best to move about or around in the bed. Use of rope ladder is also very helpful to patient to have some independency. The patient will learn to cough effectively both with supporting himself and when assisted by physiotherapist. Like post-operatively, patient will be having a mid-sternotomy incision, and that patient may have sutures which are painful. So he has to support his sutures with the help of hand or pillow or with the help of physiotherapist while huffing or coughing. Excess secretions will be removed by practicing huffing and coughing techniques. If it is already some secretions present in the lungs, pre-operatively we have to advise the patient to do coughing and huffing techniques. Each patient is taught how to support the chest by holding both hands across the sternum or by use of pillow to support the chest wall, like which is shown in a figure. We also can give postural drainage pre-operatively if we may find secretions on auscultation. These will help the patient to have clear lung post-operatively. So here are the reference for whatever we have learned in part 1 of CABG. Do watch my next video tutorial CABG part 2 for post-operative physiotherapy role. Thank you.